as the Packers come to town in one of the storied rivalries in the history of the NFL. And here, they cheer the weather report when they said it's 39 degrees and supposed to be colder. Standing ovation went up. Wind 19 miles an hour coming out of the southwest, and they cheered that as well. The Bears 10-2, Minnesota 9-4. The Bears, with a victory today, would clinch at least a wild card spot as the playoffs approach. Good afternoon again. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And I think if you look at the Bears' approach to this, as they are 10-2, one of the best teams, one of the best records in pro football, what about their incentive? What about how they approach this game?
I think their incentive is just to get better every week. You know, we were talking to Mike Ditka yesterday, and he said he didn't want to hear anything about clinching today. All that clinches is a place in the playoffs, and he said it's a lot bigger than that. He said our goal this year is the Super Bowl, and that's what we're looking toward, too. And he thinks that they have to win their next three. That's the first goal they'd like to do, is win these 3 games. They play the Minnesota Vikings the last game of the season. They'd like to go into that game where it means nothing. They'd like to clinch their division, have home field throughout, and make the road to the Super Bowl go right here through Chicago.
And, John, the Packers at exactly the opposite end of the standings with a record of 2-10. It's been a frustrating year for them. This is still the Bears and the Packers. Now, how does Green Bay approach this game?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Lindy Infante, the rookie coach of the Green Bay Packers, doesn't want to hear any of that talk about the draft choice. You know, of course, if you have the lowest record in the National Football League, then you get the #1 draft choice, and Troy Aikman's out there, the quarterback from UCLA. So there's that type of talk, but not for Lindy Infante. He says, I want to win. I don't care about the draft. That'll take care of itself. You know, it's ironic, Pat, that what happened is the Green Bay Packers have won 2 games this year to Minnesota and New England. Those were the 2 teams that the Bears lost to. And Lindy Infante said, today we have to play like we did against the Vikings and the Patriots.
The Bears won the toss, John, and Don Bracken will kick off. And watch this closely because you won't see it very often. A straightaway kicker who hasn't kicked off since high school. Takes it from Gentry, and Gentry gets outside the 25 to about the 28. Knocked down by Tiger Green.
Well, it's been a long time since you've seen one of those shoes, huh?
Isn't that the truth? Somebody said last night to us, he has a square-toed shoe. I didn't know they made those anymore. Mike Tomczak will start at quarterback, and he'll be looking at this defense character, Winter. And the linebackers, Anderson, Noble, Holland, and Harris. And the secondary, Lee and Brown, the corners, Stills and Murphy, the safeties. Neil Anderson split wide to the right. This is something they did to the Packers last year, and they did it early. Tomczak to McKinnon. McKinnon, about 9. The Bears offense, Tomczak the quarterback, Anderson and Suey the runners, Gentry and McKinnon wide, and the tight end is James Thornton. Although that changes on every play. Up front, Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn playing very well. Tomczak in 88 as a starter hasn't lost. 2nd down and 1. Gentry split wide right, and McKinnon is to the left. Suey and Anderson. This is Anderson. Straight ahead. Pick up perhaps 2, and should be enough for a first down. Stopped by John Anderson.
You know, it's interesting, one thing with this Bear team this year, Pat, as you mentioned, the tight ends. They use 3 tight ends. They change the tight ends every play. They use 2 sets of wide receivers. They switch that every other series. And they use 2 sets of backs that they switch every 3rd series. So the only constant thing that this Bear offense has are those 5 offensive linemen that will play every play.
And they play very well as a unit. 1st and 10. Boso is the tight end, and he is split wide to the right this time. That was McKinnon on the move. This is Anderson. Neil Anderson to midfield. Brian Noble made the stop, but Anderson got 9.
Anderson has gone back to just hitting the holes. You know, he went through a period where he started dancing, trying to pick holes, and he wasn't getting in there. Before the Redskin game, he told his backfield coach, he said, I'm going to change. I'm just going to go boom, just become a slashing runner the way I used to be and forget that dancing stuff. And he's much better at that.
The best place to dance is in the end zone. McKinnon was the move man. This is Suey left side. And that's close to another Bear first down, stopped by Bob Nelson. Suey got 2.
This is a type of offense that Mike Ditka really wants to see, that ball control offense. You get some runs going, that sets up the play passes. He said one of the things that the Bears have been doing, he says, is just living on big plays. He said, I like that ball control and more consistency. That's a picture there. Jim McMahon giving advice to Mike Ditka, and then Mike Ditka taking it.
You sure he took it?
Well, he's listening to it anyway, unemotionally.
Anderson goes wide to the left this time, leaving Suey as the lone setback, and McKinnon comes in motion. Tomczak to McKinnon. Inside the 40. Another gain of 9, stopped by Noble this time. Murphy was blitzing for the Packers. Here's a guy, Tomczak, who has really changed in his appearance, his confidence, and his leadership, I guess you'd have to say.
Well, you know, you could just see the way he carries himself, that he has so much more confidence. In fact, he said yesterday, the 2 things you can't hide are confidence and a cough.
Well, let me think about that.
Now, I know some other things you can't hide.
Second and short. This is Anderson. He'll have another Chicago first down. Gain of 3, Robert Brown on the stop.
You know, another thing that's hard to cover up or hard to hide is lack of confidence. You can see that too. You can see that in a posture. Another thing is hiccups.
And you can see in Tomczak that he has started to believe in himself. Jim McMahon is eligible to come back next week, and Mike Ditka said, well, we have now 2 strong leaders, Tomczak, McMahon, but the real strong leader is me, and I'll make the choice.
They're blaming Hilgenberg. You hear them? They're saying, oh, Hilgenberg moved the ball. Hilgenberg was just doing some talking. That was Tim Harris of the Packers was saying, hey, Hilgenberg.
You know what happened, I think, John?
I think someone spit on the
One
ball.
of the Packer defensive linemen spit on the ball. Out it goes.
But, you know, Hilgenberg's the type of center that spit wouldn't bother.
That's another thing you can't hide. No gain. Noble on the bottom of the pile. Suey, the ball carrier. 1 yard, perhaps. And again, Moorhead will come in with the play, the tight end, and deliver it to Tomczak.
You know, Hilgenberg, you have to love him. He was a guy that said the great thing about playing football, being a professional football player, is that you don't have to take a shower to go to work. So a guy that likes work because he doesn't have to shower to go there isn't going to be bothered by a little spit in the ball.
I would agree. I think you have to shower when you get through work. This is Suey again, right side, hit hard by Brian Noble, a pickup of 2. It'll bring up 3rd and long for the Bears. Murphy again put the pressure on Tomczak, or came on a blitz.
There's a guy who really wants to win today. Brian Noble, in fact, they had him out before practice. They weren't even sure if he was going to be active today. Didn't practice all week. They had him out here working out before the game. He passed that test, and you see he just made the tackle there. He was the guy who said this week, he said, you know, he said, I've watched bears, I've played against bears, I've hunted bears, but I've never beaten the bears. That's what I want to do today.
3rd and 7 as Gentry starts in motion and now backs out of it. Looks a couple of times, fires to Ron Morris. And Tom Zach was saying yesterday, a gain of 15 if you need long yardage. That's who I'm looking for.
But look at this pass protection, Pat. That's the thing that made it possible. Look at that solid line. There's nothing there. He can pump, he can fake, he can hold, he can come back, and finally just throw it into the crowd to Morris. I'll tell you, here's where it all starts, though. If these 5 guys up front don't pass protect like this, look at that pass protection. Look at that pocket there. He can pump, and then no one was there. Any quarterback can complete passes with that type of blocking.
1st and 10 at the 19. Anderson again split wide to the right. They're looking in that direction. They get it outside to Bozo. Bozo out of bounds inside the Green Bay 10 at about the 8. Anderson knocked him out. A gain of 10.
One thing about being a tight end on this team, when you catch a pass or make a block, you just run right off to the sideline.
1st and goal from the 8.
Bears were talking today that they may try and get Bozo deep today because he has more speed than people think. In fact, in their nickel package, when they put in all the wide receivers, Captain Bozo could go in with that group today.
He spent the early part of the year on the inactive list. And now is a contributing tight end. Here's the handoff. Anderson to about the 2. John Anderson stopped Neil Anderson after a gain of 6, but a flag on the play.
Let's watch this play here, Pat, with a clicker, and you see, here's the type of thing that Anderson's trying to do. Get right in there. You got a guard pulling, you got a fullback leading. Decide, let them make their contact. Just hold enough, make them contact, and then boom, hit that hole.
That's the kind of runner, the kind of running back he says now he wants to be. As John Madden said, forget the dancing. Let's get it upfield. Personal foul call.
There it is right there. You see it was a kick, I think, that got the personal foul. That was Johnny Holland, number 50, and I think the pushing after was okay, but I think there was that little kick that the official saw.
That was against Thornton. It's 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. You would expect Anderson. You get a Tom Zach complete in the end zone. Tom Zach was hit. It was intended for Thornton. Tom Zach was hit by Noble just as he let it go.
I don't know that that's not paralysis from analysis. When you drive the ball down and you have complete control and you get down there in the 1-yard line, you don't need a pass, I don't think. And I'm sure that's what Mike Ditka's thinking now. Hey, what the heck? Dance with the girl you brought. Man, we got these guys on the ropes. We got them back on their heels. We got their noses over their toes. You know, we got to, boom, you know, get it in. We don't need play pass down here.
Buster is in the backfield now with Anderson. It's Anderson in motion. That's Tom Zach on a quarterback sneak. And he doesn't make it.
The ball carrier.
I was surprised on 1st down when they didn't go with Neil Anderson and just let him run it. Let's just watch this. Tom Zach here. He tries to take a step back to let his blockers get in front of him. And then he was going to just go in there behind him, but the ball never crossed the plane. Now, because of that play pass on 1st down, they end up with a 3rd down.
3rd and less than a yard to score for the Bears to take the lead. Suey now is in front of Anderson. Anderson, touchdown.
Anderson carried for the Bears.
We had that play call for him 2 downs ago.
Maybe they just want their opponents to have something else to think about. Or maybe that's confidence. Maybe, you know, take a shot on 1st down. You know you're going to get it anyway.
Kevin Butler with Tom Zach holding. Butler's number 6. And he puts number 7 on the board. Touchdown by Anderson, 14 plays. They went 70 yards with the opening kickoff. The touchdown on that 1-yard run by Neil Anderson. The Bears' longest touchdown drive of the season just completed. They kept the ball 8 minutes and 45 seconds after they got the opening kickoff. Kevin Butler will kick off to Brent Fullwood and Keith Woodside. Woodside takes the bouncing kick and gets outside the 30, about the 32, before he is stopped by Kent Butler. A return of 14 yards. So the Packers take over with 6:05 left to play in the first quarter. The Bears leading 7-0.
If you
Downtown Chicago, Soldier Field close by for the Packers and the Bears. Mikowski, the quarterback, and here's a very formidable defense that he'll be facing. Harris, McMichael, Hampton, and Dent. Rivera and Morris, they both new this year, and Singletary, the anchor, in the middle. And then the secondary, Richardson and Jackson, the corners, Douglas and Durson, the safeties. They are tough. Brent Fullwood, the lone setback. He gets the carry, and Fullwood stopped by Singletary, got 4. Packer offense, Woodside and Fullwood, the 2 runners. Perry Kemp and Sterling Sharp, their number 1 draft choice, the wide receivers. The tight end is Ed West. Rutgers, Moran, Cannon, Hallstrom, and Euchre up front. Fullwood got 4, 2nd and 6. Ball just outside the Packer 35. Bears leading 7-0. Scott was the man in motion. This is Woodside, and nothing doing. No gain. Maybe a loss. Eagles on a touchdown pass from Cunningham to Johnson go ahead of Phoenix 7-0. The Jets 7-0 over Miami. Atlanta leading the Buccaneers 3-0 as Pittsburgh leads Kansas City by the same score. 3rd and 7 here at Soldier Field. With the score, the Bears 7, the Packers nothing. Mikowski out of the shotgun formation now. As a man open is Perry Kemp. And wide open. Todd Crum made the stop, but Kemp was wide open.
Tell you what he did. Watch Kemp. He's the outside guy up there, and he's going to come to the inside. You see him come in here? I think right then they lose him. You see, now they think he's going inside, and then he goes right back to the outside after he got lost. I think we can see Perry Kemp again. You'll see Mikowski's looking at him all the way. See, he started in, and he brought the defensive back all the way in with him. Mike Richardson thought he was coming in, then boom, when he went back out, I don't think he saw him.
Woodside on first down gets nothing, stopped by Al Harris. But the Packers moving to Bear territory. They're at the Bear 29 at the moment. 2nd and 10. That will bring up after the 36-yard pass completion by Mikowski. 2nd and 10. Just inside the Bear 30. Bears leading 7-0. Pressure. Mikowski gets it out to Fullwood. Dave Durson, the first to make contact with an assist from Harris, and a loss of a yard in spite of a completion.
Yeah, that's one thing about Dave Duerson and this Chicago Bear defensive backfield. They're all good tacklers. You get the feeling that after Mikowski hit Kemp with that pass, that this Bear defense just hit it up another notch.
It's almost like an insult.
I know it. I think they were thinking, well, they had the big drive. It's kind of nice. We're ahead now. These guys won't do anything. Boom, they hit a corner on them. They said, hey, we better put some fire under this deal.
Back in the spread formation again with Paul Ott-Caruth standing alongside Mikowski. Somebody hit his arm just as he started to let it go. It was intended for Kemp. Duerson on the coverage. Just as he pulled the trigger or tried to, one of the Bear defenders hit his arm.
It was Richard Dent. You see him coming here, Pat. 95. He hit him just as he was going to throw the ball. Then he had to bring it back, cock it again, and throw it again. But Dent came on a stunt. He started outside and stunted in and came up the middle right in front of Mikowski.
This is Dean Dorsey, who won the kicking competition during the week. And he'll try the field goal with Bracken Hoving from 48 yards out. Wide left. And not far enough. Lindy Infante. It's been a tough and a frustrating first year for him in Green Bay. It's not that serious, is it? Pat Summerall, John Madden. The Bears leading the Packers 7-0 with 2:11 left to play in the first quarter. Mike Tomczak, who has a 14-2 record as a starter, leads the Bear offense on 1st and 10 at their own 31. Sue was the man in motion. Anderson, the ball carrier, hit behind the line of scrimmage by Johnny Holland. And Stills in a shoving match with Jay Hilgenberg.
Kenny Stills is a weak safety. He's a free safety who plays deep. How does he get into it with a center? Well, he's a very aggressive free safety. And he's one of those guys who's kind of half linebacker and maybe would like to be a nose tackle. And wherever the action is, he wants to get in it. Look, he comes from free safety all the way up to the pile. And then Hilgenberg points out the two biggest talkers on this Green Bay defense are Stills and then Tim Harris, the linebacker. So they're the guys that kind of fire this thing up. They're talking, boom, boom, boom. Then Hilgenberg represents the other side.
2nd and 11. Packers showing blitz from the corner. Anderson around the left side, however. A gain of about 11. That's close to a first down. Time of possession so far, 9:05 for the Bears, most of it in that opening drive. 4:04 for Green Bay. And you see how important that can be. Look at the teams who lead in time of possession, all of them in contention for a playoff spot. If you keep it, there's not much they can do with it, is there?
Well, you know what, it helps. I mean, there's a lot of things that it helps your offense, but it really helps the defense because you keep them off the field, you keep them fresh.
3rd short. Maybe, maybe not. Anderson was the ball carrier, hit and bounced backward.
Here it is right here. You see a good charge by the Green Bay defense. The right side didn't get much movement, and then Mark Murphy, the strong safety, 37, was up to the outside. He made Anderson have to cut back into that pile, and there was nothing in there.
And they will measure to see.
And Tim Harris is arguing with the referee and with the Bears. You know, it was funny. Neil Anderson was arguing on the first down run that he had a first down, and he didn't get it. And he was right for arguing because they didn't get it on second, Now they don't get it on third. Now Mike Ditka has a decision. And it looks like the decision he's going to make is to go for it. But this is a tough situation to go for it. I mean, I think emotionally you want to go for it. I think percentage-wise you have to punt it.
And, of course, the crowd wants him to go for it. But the crowd doesn't hire the head coach.
Well, and Mike Ditka, one thing that, you know, since that heart attack, he's not supposed to get too emotional or too upset, but I'll guarantee you, going for fourth down and minus territory are the thing that will make you emotional.
Winding down to the end of the first quarter. Tomczak, I'm not sure. They only needed about 6 inches, and he got a little bit more than that, I think. Not much more, but a little bit more.
Well, how do they spot this? How do they know where it is? You know, the quarterback goes in. How do you know? Here it is at the ground level, and you see now it's the ball, remember? It's just like breaking the plane. It's not where his helmet goes, it's where the ball is. Now, how does some guy on this pile come running in from the side and spot it? I have no idea.
A lot of bodies in there, but the Bears do get the first down. That's the end of the first quarter with the score Chicago 7, Green Bay nothing. Soldier Field, Chicago, where the Bears with their 10-2 record lead the Packers with their 2-10 record, 7-0. Bear ball at their own 41.5-yard line as we begin quarter number 2. Morris, the man on the move, and Tomczak back to throw. To Wendell Davis. Johnny Holland on the stop, but a Bear first down, a gain of 14.
Again, it was that great pass protection, and Davis just took that hook pass and found that open spot in that Green Bay soft zone.
Jets have tied, or Miami, I should say, has tied the Jets because New York scored first. Bear first down at the Packer 45, 9-1 in that first down category in favor of Chicago. Packers on the blitz, and Tomczak barely gets rid of it. For Morris, he got it on the hop. Murphy was coming after Tomczak.
Yeah, it was interesting, Pat, as we watch. Here's Mark Murphy, the strong safety. I think he comes up thinking that it's a run. Then he sees it's a pass, and he just keeps going and makes Tomczak throw the ball. Watch him. He's coming up, coming up. I think he goes for the play fake right there. Then he sees there's no play fake, so he says, what the heck? I'll just go get the quarterback. And he forced Mike Tomczak to throw it when he didn't want to.
That makes it 2nd and 10. Anderson left side. Flag on the play. As Anderson cut it up, stopped by John Anderson after a gain of 6, but a penalty marker down. Pat Haggerty, the referee, in his winter hat.
You said before when they announced the weather today, they said it was 39 degrees and was going to get colder and snow.
Offense, number 57, still 2nd down.
And when they said that, they got an ovation.
Yeah, the crowd loved it. The players love it. The Bears love it. I think they think that, you know, this is their stadium. This is their kind of feel. This is their kind of weather. And this is what football in Chicago is all about. And the thing is, all the people show up. You notice that? I mean, the whole place is full. They're playing on grass, outdoors. Maybe snow's coming. No one cares.
They know how to get ready for it. 2nd down. Tomczak backpedals and is hit by John Anderson. Got rid of the ball, but I think he was down.
Anderson starts out on the left side. He's a linebacker here. He just comes on a blitz, and Tomczak didn't have a guy open. See, if he could have thrown it right now, he's okay. But he had to wait just a little longer, and by the time he finally got that thing released, he was throwing it from his bat.
That'll bring up a 3rd down and 29.
John Anderson, it seems like he's always been with the Packers. He's in his 11th year. Remember when he used to have broken arm every time? He'd break the right, break the left, then break the right again.
Like every year almost.
Yeah, in fact, his kid thought that was normal.
This is Neil Anderson, chased out of bounds by the Packers at about the 40. Knocked out by Mark Murphy. Picked up 3, but the Bears will have to punt.
I'll tell you, that was one of those time of possession things that didn't go very far. It seemed like the Bears have had the ball forever, and they went for it on a 4th down and got it, and boom, 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 and they didn't get anywhere. They're still on the minus 44-yard line. That's where they went for the 1st down.
Brian Wagner back to punt for the Bears. Ron Pitts deep for Green Bay, standing at his own 20. Wagner 6th in the NFC in punting. One-hand shot. Bounces, heads for the end zone, is downed by the Bears' Glenn Kozlowski at about the 2-yard line.
I don't know. I think they're going to bring it back to the 20. I think Kozlowski's foot hit the goal line. See, now he had control. He didn't let the ball go in. But I bet if you watch this again, watch him pick it up. His body slides. Now watch, his foot is going to hit the goal line. You see the foot on the goal line. Now that puts it in the end zone and brings the ball out to the 20.
And that's where the Packers will take over. You're correct, John. It's back at the 20.
National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered draft taste, it's as real as it gets. Miller Brewing is the exclusive beer sponsor of today's telecast. RCA #1 with the toughest critics in the world. And by Toyota, there's quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Soldier Field in Chicago. Pat Summerall and John Madden, 7-0. The Bears lead the Packers. Packers with the ball at their own 20-yard line with 12:53 left to play in the first half. Fullwood and Woodside behind Mikowski, who throws on 1st down, has the ball deflected, but still completes it to Sterling Sharp. Al Harris got a hand on it.
Yeah, the last time they played, Sterling Sharp, who was the #1 draft choice of the Packers, had a big day here. He caught 7 or 8 passes. That one is his first one today. He needed a little help. It came off a tip and got rearranged a little before he caught it. But Mike Richardson said he can't wait to play him this time. He said he's going to show that that last one was a mistake.
A gain of 4, 2nd and 6, Green Bay at their own 24. Sharp is wide left. Scott is wide right. For Sharp. A wrestling match for the ball. I think it's going to be complete to Sterling Sharp. A gain of 29 as he fought with Vesti Jackson and Maurice Douglas.
They had a double on him. Sterling Sharp is a big, strong guy. He weighs like 205 pounds, has good strength, good speed. Here you can see that's so much for throwing it into double coverage. That ball was just thrown in there. He just reached out with one hand and brought it right in there. Let's watch it from this angle. He hit it in there with his right hand, didn't he? And then got both hands in on it. Vesti Jackson, Maurice Douglas were right there with him.
He is a big, strong guy. Fullwood went in motion. Mikowski looking for room, and he's got some. Finally gets the ball outside, complete a Green Bay 1st down to Perry Kemp. And the Packers move after a gain of 12 into Bear territory.
Hey, Ron Rivera was coming right at Mikowski. He had to get rid of it. Here's Perry Kemp. And you see him, he'll start. Now, once he sees Mikowski's on the scrambling, he works back outside to the sideline of the side that the quarterback is coming to. Had he kept going on his regular route, he would have went way on the other side of the field. But he saw it, stopped, and went back to the side of the scramble.
Sharp and Scott both split wide to the left. Now Scott comes in motion. Mikowski gives it back to Woodside. And Woodside out of bounds on the far side. Knocked out by Douglas. A gain of 4. Flag on the play, however.
Hey, this is the thing that the Lindy and Fonte was saying that has killed them all year, that they get something going and then they have either turnovers or penalties. And you can just see it now that you had the feeling they were getting a little momentum. And then this.
Holding, number 57, offense, still first down.
Holding call against Rich Moran. Packers have scored only 22 points in the last 4 games, but they haven't played that poorly.
See, now you'll see 57, Moran, he starts to pull, but Dent takes the inside. And he started to pull out to his left, and he couldn't pull, so he just put his right arm back there and threw the old hook on Richard Dent.
1st and 20. Mikowski roll out, chased by Dent, throws back across the field to Fullwood. Chased by Singletary, and brought down by Singletary. One-on-one at its best.
Those type of plays don't fool great defensive teams. This is what great defensive teams do. Watch Richard Dent, 95. He's going to chase Mikowski from the backside. Mikowski gets a ball off, but there's Singletary. And if you're a linebacker in the NFL, and a great one, you have to be able to tackle in the open field. And Mike Singletary, of course, is one of the great ones.
And if the Packers get a block on Singletary, they had that play set up so they could have gone in for 6. 2nd down. Ball at the Bear 40. Here's Mikowski back in the pocket. Deflected at the last minute. Again, it's Singletary.
You know, that's why you talk about great players and you say, well, why do they always say Singletary's the best? I think you're seeing it here. He stopped a touchdown on the play before that. Now it gets 3rd down. He's there, he gets out there and knocks the ball down. I mean, here's a guy as a middle linebacker that can really, 1, take control of his team, and 2, he can take control of the game.
3rd and 19. Mikowski will operate from the spread formation this time. Well, Sharp knocked away at the last second by Vesty Jackson. And incomplete.
Vesty Jackson up on top. Sharp is going to run a corner pattern. Again, see, he starts to the inside, then he's going to break out to the outside. Hey, that was a heck of a play by Vesty Jackson. If the ball just been a little deeper, Sharp would have had a better chance at it.
Don Bracken back to punt for the Packers now. Dennis McKinnon for the Bears at about the 11-yard line. Bracken gets off a good kick. A flag on the play. It's going to be against the Bears for running into the kicker.
Remember the new rule this year, it's not automatic 1st down. And
Into the kicker, number 90.
And the Packers at about 4th and 20. They're going to see the running in, so it's only going to be a 5-yard penalty. So the thing is, it'll be interesting here, does that put him in field goal range, or do they take the penalty and punt again?
Running into the kicker, number 90. 4th down.
Still, as you said, 4th down.
See, now the ball's on the 35-yard line. It would be a 52-yard field goal. So they're going to just punt it again.
And it would be against the wind as well. So they'll punt again.
A year ago, that would have been an automatic 1st down.
Right. And still, if it's roughing the kicker, it's automatic. Running into it's different. So the result is the same as the ball goes into the end zone. And the Bears will take over at their own 20. 10 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Bears leading 7-0. Bears 7, Green Bay nothing. Lake Michigan looks a little bit angry today. To summarize, the Bears have had it 13 minutes, 3 seconds. The Packers 6:46. The one touchdown by Neil Anderson from a yard out. And that's been it. As the Bears lead 7-0 with 10:11 left to play in the first half. Tomczak gets it out to Mustard. And Tomczak was under pressure. And the Bears' #1 draft choice couldn't hang on. Carricker put the heat on.
You know, watch Tim Harris here. If you're going to block the Packers, you have to get him blocked. But watch a rookie Thornton come in motion, get his hands up there, boom, right now. He stops that rush right there, stops that penetration right there. Harris is too straight up. Thornton wins that battle. You see, by getting his hands up underneath, there's no place he can go. So he just keeps him right there in the line of scrimmage. Hey, that's a pretty good block by a rookie. And he came all the way across the backfield to do that.
And a tight end, not a lineman. Muster was the man in motion. Here's Tomczak. Again, flushed out of the pocket. Pass incomplete. Intended for Emery Moorhead. Mark Murphy, the defender, as you look at some of the rest of the scores around the league. James Brooks has both Bengal touchdowns. Dan Marino hit for a touchdown for the Dolphins against the Jets. Tomczak 5 out of 9 for 57 yards. Third down and 10. He's missed his last 3, however. Third and 10, Bears their own 20. Operating out of the spread this time. Flag on the play. The Packers jumped offside. For Gentry, incomplete. But they're going to bring this one back. Green Bay jumped.
I'll tell you, that's the type of thing a quarterback really looks for. Mike Tomczak is awfully upset with himself because when the other team jumps, you get a free play. Because if you complete it, you just turn down the penalty.
Defense.
That's what Tomczak was upset about. It was a third down. He wanted to take a shot. He wanted to get a deep one because the pressure is really off you then because it's a free one. When you got a guy open like that and you don't hit him, or you have a free shot, you don't make it, you know that in life you're not going to get many free shots. Or in football, anyway.
Well, it's something to think about, anyway.
Well, and Mike Tomczak, you know, he's been going to a psychologist. He's had a monkey on his back, and that whole pressure and everything has gotten to him, and he's handled it well. When you get that free shot, you want to make it good.
3rd and 5. Penalty marker down, intended for Wendell Davis. Dave Brown with it. There's a remarkable story, John, that Dave Brown, how many guys play cornerback in the NFL for as long as he has?
Well, you know, it's amazing. Yeah, he's in his 14th year now. Some guys play 14 years, but they're usually nose tackles, defensive tackles, and offensive linemen. But to play out there on that corner for 14 years, that's an amazing. I had one. Willie Brown was like that. And, of course, he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Those are about the only 2. Pitts back deep. Good kick, and the ball blows away from Pitts, and he finally does handle it. And heads back upfield at about the 32. He's down there. By Cap Bozo again. Kozlowski helped him. 9.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Next Sunday here on CBS, it begins at 12:30 with the NFL Today. The Phoenix Cardinals visit the New York Giants at the Meadowlands, where John Madden and I will be. Washington against Philadelphia. Another big match in the NFC East. Cowboys Cleveland and Green Bay Detroit. And then New Orleans against Minnesota at 4 Eastern Time. Getting down to where every game becomes a very big game. Kowski back to throw. Perry Kemp, complete. It'll be a Packer first down. He's dragged down by Maurice Douglas. A gain of 17.
Yeah, you have to like this Don Majkowski, the way the poise he has, and you know this Bear defense, they're going to give you a big rush. On this one, he goes with a little play fake, gets good pass protection. See, it gives him time. He looks left, comes off, finds his guy, and is able to get the ball out there to Kemp in that zone. But I'll tell you again, all this passing starts with pass protection. You give a guy time, and he can do some damage. If you don't, no matter how good he is, he can't hurt you.
Majkowski back to Woodside. Woodside breaks one tackle by Morrissey, is finally knocked out of bounds by Vesti Jackson. He got 5 yards, however.
Woodside made a good move there on Jim Morrissey. Morrissey is the new outside linebacker, the right linebacker, number 51. Watch him, he's going to come up there on the outside. Comes off a block here, watch him, he has him. He gives him that move to the inside, and Morrissey comes up with an air ball. That's embarrassing, you know, right in front of the other guy's bench, too. They're all kind of laughing at him.
2nd and 5. Fullwood is the close back. That's Woodside. And he's hit behind the line of scrimmage by Dan Hampton. Loss of 1.
Yeah, Hampton's having one of his best years that he's had. He's a 10-year guy in the NFL, and this is one of his best. Let's watch him here with the clicker. You see, here's Hampton here. You can't miss him. He's right in the center of this deal. Let's let him go here. And we'll see. You see the first thing he does, boom, he just ties into the center. So he just ties him up, gets him straightened up. Now, when you get a guy's shoulders straight up, he loses his power. Then when you can do that, boom, you just take him and just go right into the ball carrier.
3rd down. Pass is caught by the Packers' Aubrey Matthews. Hit by Maurice Douglas, but a flag, a marker down on the play. They'll bring it back. Singletary was coming on a blitz.
58. Number.
They're going to get Mark Cannon, a guy we just had who was blocking Hampton on the play before, who didn't get it done.
Number 58. Offense.
Exactly right.
Still 3rd down.
Hey, that's a tough thing where you have to snap the ball and then get up there and block, and then you got a guy like Hampton in front of you. Let's watch it here. Here's 58 right there. See if we can see the hole. Right there, you see he gets by, and he just takes a grab at him. That didn't look that bad. I mean, Hampton just beat him so bad, he was just grabbing air. I don't even think he got Hampton.
3rd and 16. They'll tee off this time. Majkowski makes a good catch. And he's going to take off with it. Caught from behind by Richard Dent right at midfield. He gained 7, but that won't be enough.
You see Richard Dent come flying off him? You know, when a guy is that big, like 6'5", 270 pounds like Dent, and can run that well, that's what makes a great defensive end. But watch Dent here as he comes flying. He runs, and then just dives for him. Stops him at midfield and forces him to punt.
Majkowski came off the field after that hit on the wrong side of the field. He came to the Bear bench. Now that's a hit. McKinnon inside the 10. 41-yard punt. 6:38 left in the first half. Bears 7. Packers nothing. Watch what happens to the Green Bay quarterback after the game, after that particular play is over. Watch where he goes.
I think he was all right, Pat, until he did the somersault, and then he got lost in space because it wasn't the hit by Dent. He was okay. Then he did a little backflip, got up, boom, he came right over to this sideline. Look, he's laughing about it now. He said,
Yeah.
Hey, did you see what I did? Man,
Can't beat him. Can't beat him. Join him, huh?
For a trade and said, we're 2-10, they're 10-2. Let me try that side.
First down, Bears at their own 9. 6:38 left to play in the first half. And the Bears leading the Packers by a touchdown. Handoff is to Anderson. Hit behind the line of scrimmage at the 5. Tim Harris.
Tim Harris plays right side or left side. That time he was on the other side. He was over here. He's the outside guy. Boom, he comes right there. They don't get him blocked there, and he makes a tackle in the backfield. You see him, he's up on top, takes on the block with his shoulder, plays that well, and tackles Anderson for a loss.
That'll bring up 2nd and 14.
They call that defense Tim Rover, and he can go right or left.
He's left again this time. Anderson to about the 12. Stopped by Mark Murphy after a gain of 7. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Bears.
You know, the Bears had that opening drive that was a great drive. I mean, that was a Super Bowl type drive. And sometimes that gives you a little overconfidence. And I think that since they had that drive, they went right down the field, boom, score 7 points, that they've kind of put it in coast since then. And they haven't been able to get anything going. You know, consistency. I mean, they haven't been able to keep those first downs going and get back into flow. Sometimes when things come too easy, it's hard to get them back.
3rd and 7. Tomczak back in the sprint formation. The Packers blitz it. He gets it out to McKinnon. That'll be enough for a first. Pickup of 18. Murphy and Stills made the stop.
Hey, 3rd down, you could just about be assured that the Bears are going to go to either Dennis Gentry or Dennis McKinnon. Here it's McKinnon. He was the inside guy, just comes right down in the slot, finds a hole in there, and turns towards the quarterback. But Dennis McKinnon is a big clutch receiver. The other guy, of course, is Dennis Gentry. Most of the 3rd down passes will be caught by one of those two guys.
Muster and Anderson, and now Anderson splits out wide to the left. Look for him to go to him. Tomczak just barely gets rid of it to Muster, who struggled for 9 yards before he stopped by Johnny Howland.
I'll tell you, Mike Tomczak has to get credit for that one, Pat. If you see how he avoided the first rusher, you watch, he's going to get pressure right there. He gets away from that one by himself by moving his feet from right to left. That bought him just another half second, and then whap, he could hit Brad Muster in there with the ball.
So that'll make it 2nd short. A little bit less than a yard. Tomczak 7 out of 12. As the Bears lead 7-0. Just over 3.5 minutes left in the first half. To Morris. Incomplete and no flag. It's a good time to take a shot.
And if you're going to take a shot, you know, we talked about the 3rd down, either McKinnon or Gentry. The long ones are going to be Ron Morris. He's a guy that they're going to throw deep to. Looked like he had a step out there on David Brown, but the ball was thrown short. He got spun around out there. But Morris is a speed guy. Look at that, David Brown, 14 years as a corner in this league. I remember when he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, #1 draft choice, and then they sent him to Seattle, played up there for years. Very solid player.
14 years as a cornerback. Remarkable. Tomczak gives to Anderson. Anderson might have nudged forward enough to get a first down before he stopped by Harris.
The other thing that surprises me about David Brown is wearing that sweat jacket on a day like this. Wearing that under his uniform. You always wonder what happens to sweat on a cold day. I mean, like it's 32 degrees. Does it? Or does it even come?
I don't know.
You know, like if it gets 32 degrees, it looks like some of that's holding to his skin. Then does it freeze?
I suppose it depends on where you are.
I mean, that's some getup. He has a brown sweat jacket underneath with yellow gloves. That's quite a deal.
Tomczak back to throwing. with protection this time. Pass bobbled, and McKinnon couldn't hang on. Tom Zach just looked at him and said, hey, my fault.
He's pointing to himself. I'll take that one. And he should point to himself because McKinnon was coming across here wide open. He was coming on a cross underneath. There was no one near him. I tell you, that'll drive a quarterback crazy. Watch it here. See McKinnon come across here? Look, there's no one there. All he has to do is get him. Although, I think that was probably Tom Sack's fault for throwing it a little low. But I think McKinnon should catch that ball. I mean, you got to be able to bend down to get that one. That's not that tough to catch.
Tom Sack back, a blitz on again. This time, it's Thornton. And Thornton holds on.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a heck of a catch for a guy with those big old arms. You said that ball was thrown behind him, and he had to reach back to catch that thing. That guy has some guns coming out of that shirt. To get those guns moved around like that and caught that thing behind him. Watch it, he's coming across. Now watch it, it's going to be thrown behind him. He had to reach back with his left hand to get that thing.
Yep. He's been in the weight room somewhere. 2-minute warning. Back at Soldier Field, Pat Summerall, John Madden, 7-0. The Bears lead the Packers. Chicago's first drive, when they kept the ball so long after the opening kickoff, went 70 yards. Since then, times have come more difficult. 3rd and 2. Tom Zach rolls left, and he'll have the first down. He rolls into Packer territory, got 4 yards, stopped by Dave Brown, but Mike Tomczak gets the first down.
I tell you, that's the old naked reverse or naked bootleg. If you watch what happened, you watch Tomczak is going to fake there. See him fake? He fakes the sweep to the right. Now he puts the ball there behind him so the defense can't see it. Now look out here. There's no one out here. It's 3rd down. He just has to look. Where's the first down? There it is. I got it. That's the old naked bootleg. No blocker out in front of you.
I don't think anybody knew he was going to do that except Tomczak. Pass incomplete in the direction of Ron Morris over his head.
The reason that ball went over his head is he is getting pressure. Watch Tim Harris there, 97. Right as Tomczak goes to throw the ball, he's hit, and the ball went awry. Like Jim Covert had a little problem on that one because he really let Tim Harris get too much penetration. Covert had him, but he had him all the way in Tomczak's face. Okay, they're seen enough. He said, "To heck with it. I'm not watching any more of this for a while."
Ready for the weather, at least. Too cold to walk. Juggles up into the pocket. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Morris. It was covered by Mark Lee. Lucky that one was not picked off.
Hey, it looked like Robert Brown was right there on him again. He had to bring the ball down and then bring it back up to get it out there.
Neither team has used a timeout as yet, so they both have all 3 remaining. Tomczak now is 8 out of 17 for 92 yards here in the first half. 3rd and long, 3rd and 10. Ball at the Packer 48. Tomczak hit by Harris and hit hard, and Tomczak is still down.
But you're going to see Tim Harris again. That time he went right by Jim Covert. Covert overextended. He was supposed to block Harris. We saw in the last play Covert had trouble with Harris. That time he overextended. Harris went right by him and made that hit on Tomczak. In fact, he knocked his feet right out of the ground.
And that's backup quarterback Jim Harbaugh loosening up. 7-0 with 1 minute and 1 second. Bears will have to punt with just over 1 minute remaining in the first half. Ron Pitts back deep for the Packers. Brian Wagner gets off a fine into the end zone, and Green Bay will take over at their own 20 with 50 seconds left to play in the first half.
Yeah, if you take Tomczak had a little pressure today, especially late. It looked like they had good control early, but then in the second quarter they started to get him to him. They sacked him twice. He was knocked down 4 times. In other words, after he threw the ball, he was knocked down. He was hurried 5 times. So I think that the Bear offensive line in the first quarter had control. I think they lost that control as the second quarter went on, and finally they lost their quarterback, Mike Tomczak, and losing.
Doesn't look like they've been able to figure out where Harris is coming from. And then once they do, they still got to get him blocked. Pass complete. The Packers to Patrick Scott, but now out of bounds. Incomplete.
Out of bounds.
We're going to see it here that he didn't have both feet inbounds. See, he catches it now. In fact, the left foot went out, the right foot stayed in. So he held that right foot there, but in coming down, the left foot went out.
That'll bring up second down from the 20. Second and 10. Bears 7. The Packers nothing as the first half winds down. Singletary on a blitz. He just barely gets rid of it. Dan Hampton around the feet of Machowski.
I think the thing is, if I were the Green Bay Packers now, and I know you don't want to get conservative, but I think that their defense is starting to come along. They're ending up with 3rd and long. I don't think they want to force anything and get a turnover in this position.
So the Bears take a timeout with 38 seconds left to play in the first half. The Bears lead the Packers with 38 seconds remaining in the first half at Soldier Field, Chicago. Brings up a 3rd and 14 for Green Bay from their own 16-yard line.
I think the last thing the Packers want to do is force anything here.
And that's what they're not going to do. And now the Bears again quickly take a timeout. So they have 1 left with 33 seconds. Jim Harbaugh loosening up on the sideline.
I expected, of course, Jim Harbaugh is going to get a shot or 2 here in this first quarter, and I would expect that he'll have to play the second half. And that's the only other quarterback the Bears have. We know that Jim McMahon, of course, with the injured knee, is on IR. He's down there in street clothes. They have Mike Tomczak is now in the locker room where they'll be x-raying his shoulder, and they have the one quarterback to go to, and that's Jim Harbaugh. And that's not bad either. I mean,
no, it's not.
You know that doesn't have to make you shake in your boots.
Don Bracken will do the punting for the Packers. Dennis McKinnon back deep for the Bears with 33 seconds left in the first half, and the Bears leading the Packers 7-0. Bracken's about 2 yards deep in his end zone. Gets it out of there to McKinnon. Dennis McKinnon out of bounds. Flag on the play. McKinnon out of bounds at about the 39-yard line in Packer territory, but a penalty marker down.
That penalty is against the Bears. That could knock them out of possible field goal range, because all they'd need is one play of any kind to be in Butler's field goal range. If this knocks them back, that's probably going to take that distance away from the field goal, if that makes any sense.
Holding number 24 on the...
And that's exactly what it was. It's against the Bears. We're going to see it right there. They call holding there on the return against Vesti Jackson, number 24. I don't know. Hey, that looks awfully picky. That looked okay.
That moves them back, however, to midfield. And as you pointed out, John, out of field goal range for the moment at least. 23 seconds remaining first half.
I was just going to say, I would think what Harbaugh needs now is like a 20 to 25 yard completion to get in Kevin Butler's field goal range.
Tomczak has gone to the locker room. Harbaugh, his first attempt of the day. And the Packer blitz gets to him. Sean Patterson. And the word from the Bears is that it is a possible separation. I assume shoulder separation on Tomczak.
And I'll tell you one thing, the quarterback isn't a big thing for the Bears. They have strength all around strength. But this offensive line of the Bears better settle down to get whoever's playing some protection.
Harbaugh will run out the first half. No time left on the clock. That's the end of the first half. With the score, the Chicago Bears 7, the Packers nothing. At the half at Soldier Field, Chicago, it's the Bears 7, the Packers nothing. Still no definitive word, John, on what the extent of the injury is to Mike Tomczak. Jim Harbaugh finished the first half. Can they go ahead if Harbaugh is their only quarterback?
Well, I'm sure they can. I mean, that's one good thing about this Bear team. It's not a quarterback-oriented team. The quarterback doesn't have to carry the team. The thing that I would be concerned with if I were the Bears and if I were Mike Ditka, that my offensive line in the first quarter had control of it, and then in the second quarter they lost control. The Green Bay defense played very well in the second quarter, and I think the Bears now have to get back and take control over. Of course, the Packers, when they go in, they should feel very good about that second quarter football and a chance to win it.
Jim McMahon is eligible to come back next week against the Rams. Mike Ditka told us yesterday he didn't think that McMahon was quite ready, but he would be the next week, which would be against the Detroit Lions. So it remains to be seen. And we just got word from the Bears that it is, in fact, in the case of Mike Tomczak, a separated shoulder. So obviously he won't be back, and it'll be up to Jim Harbaugh. Butler bounces the kickoff. One of the Green Bay linemen started to lateral it and decided to keep it and returned it.
And the thing, Pat, we were talking about Jim McMahon. We talked to him yesterday, and he said his knee is still pretty loose. He has a new Lenox Hill brace, and he'll wear braces now on both knees. I would think Harbaugh, you know, with a separated shoulder, you're talking at least a couple of weeks because it's his left shoulder. For his right shoulder, it'd be over a month. And then Harbaugh now just has to carry this thing until either McMahon or Tomczak can get back. And I would think after this game, the Bears will probably pick up another quarterback.
7-0 in favor of the Bears as Perry Kemp picks up 9 yards from Machowski. Right now, if the Bears, if something were to happen to Jim Harbaugh, the starting tight end, James Thornton, would be his backup. He played in high school as a quarterback. You know the high school.
Well, yeah, Sebastopol High School in California. It's right by Santa Rosa. The guy that used to be, for years, the Bears quarterback, if they got in trouble and lost all their quarterbacks, was Walter Payton. Remember that? And of course, this is his first year of retirement.
Machowski gives it to Brent Fullwood. And there's nothing happening there.
The one thing that the Packers were talking about that they would like to do is establish the run. And I think that's one of those things, if you don't block a little better than that, you're not going to establish anything. You're not going to establish getting the ball back to the line of scrimmage. But that's tough to run today in this league, and especially against the Bears.
3rd and 3. Kowski out of the spread. A lot of time intended for Paul Ott-Caruth. Incomplete, and the Packers will have to punt.
I'll say this, I'm impressed with these Packers today. I mean, they're a scrappy bunch. They started getting control on that defense. Their offensive line, Mikowski couldn't find anyone to throw to, but they did give him time. I think if the Bears had to get to Thornton as their quarterback, they would be in big trouble. His arms are too big to be a quarterback.
Bracken back to punt. Gets off a good kick to McKinnon, who's going to let it bounce, and it bounced away from him. He dropped it and finally falls on it about the 5-yard line. Whittington. Bracken, the punter, flips off the field. Let's see what happened to him.
Oh, you can just see right there, Maurice Douglas, number 37, was rolling on the ground, and he rolled up on him after he kicked the ball.
That was a 54-yard punt. The Bears backed up with Jim Harbaugh, their quarterback, back to their own 6-yard line.
I think right now, if the Bears are going to do anything, they better block number 97, Tim Harris. It's a first-order business for him.
Anderson and Suey behind Harbaugh, who goes back into the end zone and fires it out of there complete to Thornton, who dropped it and got it back again. Johnny Holland made the hit. Packers say they have it. They do have it. Green Bay ball after the pass was complete. Mark Lee came up with it.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh did what he had to. He comes out there in a bootleg out of his own end zone. That's a tough thing. You come out there, you throw that thing, he finds a rookie Thornton, number 80, hits him with the ball. He gets hit right there by Ken Stills. The ball pops out, and Lee comes up with the interception. I mean, with the fumble recovery. You talk about a turnaround here.
1st and 10, Green Bay. Packers at the Bear 26. Singletary encouraging the crowd to get involved. Bears come on a blitz. Mikowski gets rid of it. Incomplete. Sterling Sharp watched it go through his hands. Duerson put the heat on.
It looked like he got a jump. The crowd started cheering, and the strong safety starts to get up to the outside, and he's coming on the blitz before the ball snapped. He hit that thing perfectly.
2nd and 10 now. The ball at the Bear 26. That Bear defense is fired up. Mikowski up into the pocket, fires just to get rid of it. Intended for or in the direction of Woodside. But again, the heat was on, and it was Morrissey this time.
You can see Morrissey, he's coming from the backside of Mikowski. He's going to be right around his waist. You see him grab him around the waist there, start to spin him, and Mikowski wasn't trying to complete that pass. He was just trying to throw it away.
Lindy and Bunty. The Packers' new head coach. It's been a long year. They need to make something happen right here. Harut is the lone setback back with Mikowski. Bears are coming again. Mikowski does well to get rid of it. The heat on that time by Duerson again.
Hey, he was pretty strong. Mike Singletary's going to come right up the middle. Singletary's coming up the middle. Duerson's coming from the outside. You see Singletary there flushes him out. Now once you get him flushed out, get upfield on the outside. That's what Duerson does. I'll tell you what saved this for the Packers is Mikowski's straight arm right there. See, that straight arm allowed him to still get rid of the ball before he was tackled by Duerson.
And Dean Dorsey from 43 yards will try his 2nd field goal of the day. And that one's going to be no good. So the Packers get a break, but get nothing out of it. And it's still 7-0. The Bears lead the pack. Sanders, Southern Cal's Rodney Peete, and his crosstown rival UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman. That all begins next Saturday at 2 Eastern Time here on CBS. Harbaugh gives to Anderson, who juggles for a moment and struggles in the grasp of Mark Lee. Struggles for 8 yards.
You know, it's interesting. You put in a backup quarterback, and those types of things happen because the backup quarterback doesn't get to work with the starters, of course, as much as the starting quarterback. So you're going to have problems early with the snap count, the cadence, everyone getting off on the snap of the ball together, the handoffs, the simple things that look automatic and you take for granted always aren't that simple.
That brings up 2nd and 2 for Jim Harbaugh. Shuey will have a big outside the 40 to about the 43. Brian Noble tripped him up after a gain of 9.
That was one thing Mike Ditka was talking about yesterday that he wanted to do is get a little more fullback running and some trapping. You know, where you trap with your lineman, you trap and then send the fullback inside. That has never been a big part of the Bear offense, and it's something between now and the playoffs that they would like to establish.
They used it successfully against the Redskins. Anderson this time splits out wide to the right. McKinnon in motion. Outside in the direction of Cap Bozo, who makes the reception at about the 47. A gain of 5. Kent Stills made the stop.
You gotta like a tight end like that. Cap Bozo, you know, big guy, can run a little blocking. There's Steve Kaiser. He's the tight end coach. You see, that's the way coaches talk to players. They grab them by the face mask. That means good play. Because you can't pat them. I mean, they're padded everywhere else, so you can't shake hands. They're all padded up, so you just grab their face mask and rattle their cage.
Harbaugh out of the pocket. Ed Chase finally gets rid of it, throws it at an empty spot on the field. Caught by one of the Bear backups on the Bear bench. Ron Rivera, the linebacker, made the reception. Harris again put the heat on.
Mike Ditka's getting more and more involved. You know, it was just 3 weeks ago he had that heart attack, missed one game, came back, was on the sidelines, didn't talk much then. That was a Redskin game. Still has his doctor, that's Jay Alexander, the cardiologist who took care of Mike Ditka. And Mike Ditka was telling us yesterday that he's going to have him on the sideline today, and he's going to have him on the sideline with him all the time.
As long as he can get away. On 3rd down, Harbaugh gets it outside of Gentry. That's close to a 1st down. A gain of 7, it should be. Tiger Green knocked him out of bounds.
Mike Ditka was saying yesterday, you know, talking about the heart attack, he said it was a heart attack, and he said, I'll tell you, that makes you think about a lot of things. And said it was strange. He said, I knew more about hitting a 9-iron into the wind than I did about my own heart. So when you think of it that way, he said, that's really stupid, isn't it?
Now that's changed because he knows a lot about it now. Anderson split wide to the right on 1st and 10. Ball at the Packers 45, and Harbaugh back to throw it. Up the middle to Emory Moorhead. A gain of 16.
One thing you can tell that Jim Harbaugh likes those tight ends. We've seen him so far. He's hit Thornton with one. He's hit Cap Bozo, and now he hits Emory Moorhead. So one thing, they're 3 different guys, but they all play the same position. And it's funny, you can have the same patterns, but different quarterbacks will look for different guys within the pattern to throw it to.
And the Bears change receivers, wide receivers and tight ends so often that nobody has great numbers, but they get the job done. This is Anderson. Out of bounds inside the Packer 20. Flag on the play.
I think it's going to be holding against the Bears. In fact, if you watch Tim Harris, he's excited as heck. He thinks it's against Cap Bozo. Look at him. He saw it. He thinks he was one of the guys being held. Preliminary signals holding. It has to be against number 86.
On Tim Harris. And he'll let you know about it.
Number 86. Offense, still first down.
Well, there was a sweep to the right. And you'll see Bozo there not doing a very good job of blocking initially. Then he started out again, and it had to come after that, after Anderson got around him. Because that wasn't, whatever he did there wasn't very good. Wasn't very football-like.
So they bring it back to the 34-yard line, to Packer 34. First and 15.
If I were penalizing, I'd penalize him for making a bad block.
Harbaugh chased, incomplete, intended for Anderson. Tim Harris again put the heat on Harbaugh, along with Carricker.
Yeah, that was kind of a screen pass. Jay Hilgenberg, the center, was out in front, and he was awfully close to being downfield. When you get an old center out there, you know, they want to get out there on those perimeters. They want some action out there. Jay Hilgenberg got the, you see that thing he wears on his elbow there? What that does is it helps you pump up that. He's the next guy in there. You pump those black things on the elbow up, and then that puts air in your arms. And it looks, that's how you get those arms pumped up. You pump up those tubes in your elbows.
Here's Anderson. Bent backwards after a gain of 4. Stopped by Johnny Holland and Tim Harris again.
Down by Carricker and Holland. Gain of 4.
Neil Anderson is going to be one of the good running backs in this league. He you know, he has a tough thing coming in here and replacing, being the running back who replaced Walter Payton, and said he's never going to do that or ever think that he could be another Walter Payton. All he is the next guy there to take his position. I think he's a very formidable guy in that position.
He certainly is. 3rd and 11. And off again to Anderson. Out of the spread formation. He gets inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Stopped by Harris again.
Hey, you know, we talk about all the different places that Harris plays. Watch him right here. He's over the center this time. We see him outside, and we see him outside on both sides, right and left. And here we see him over the center. Takes on Hilgenberg. Then he comes right down the line. Don't run where the guy was. Run where he's going to.
And he's still down, and now seems to be okay. Tim Harris.
He's a top player on this Green Bay Packer defense. Has been playing excellent today, and as I said, they move him all over, trying to get him in position to make those tackles. You know, we've seen him on the right side standing up. We've seen him down. We've seen him on the left side up and down. And we see him up over the center.
4th and 8. And they're going for it. Harbaugh back. This has to be because of the wind. Pass almost picked off by Mark Lee.
I'm sure that's exactly what it was, Patty. They probably figured because of the wind, it would be too far for Butler. You don't want to punt the ball because if it goes in the end zone, you get it back on the 20, so you may as well take a shot.
But the Packers will take over. Ball's at their own 27-yard line. 1st and 10. 8:15 left to play in the 3rd quarter. At Summerall with John Madden at Soldier Field, Chicago. Packers have it. Kemp was the man in motion. That's Brent Fullwood. Woodside, beg your pardon. Left side for 5. Maurice Douglas made the stop.
Keith Woodside is a rookie, and he's playing halfback because Brent Fullwood, you know, who was their #1 draft choice the year before, the guy who was supposed to do all these things, is more of a running back type, but a guy that stays in the backfield. So they had to make him the fullback.
That's Richard Dent, who's the Bear injured on the last play.
Yeah, one thing, this Bear defense is, remember in their Super Bowl year in '85, they were great, and you look at, this was their defense and the top defense in football, maybe one of the top defenses of all time. And then they come back now and they have another top defense, but look how many changes they have. I mean, positions, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new guys. And look who they are. I mean, this is the way that they have taken a defense, stayed a top defense, but become that top defense with different guys, and some guys play in different positions. And I think that maybe the key to staying on top is maybe making change. Of course, you don't want to make change this way. I mean, Richard Dent is, I would say, if I had to pick the top pass rusher in the league, in the NFL, it's this guy right here.
Right now, he's being helped off and replaced by Sean Smith. And he's hurting.
Let's watch. We'll see what happened to him. He's on the left-hand side of the screen there. He takes on a block as the ball carrier goes by. You just see him right down there, and it looked like the first thing he grabbed was his ankle.
And then his knee. One of the Packer blockers rolled over on him as he passed by.
I think what you're saying is right. It could be both the ankle and the knee, because the doctor was out there and they were checking both.
2nd down and 5 for the Packers. Now with Scott in the backfield, and now he goes out wide. And they're going to have to hurry to get this one off. They intended for Sterling Sharp, and he just dropped it. Vesty Jackson was the nearest Bear defender. Soldier Field in Chicago. One of the Chicago landmarks. 7.5 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Pat Summerall, John Madden. On a cold, blustery, windy day, which is what you'd expect in Chicago.
And this is not what the Bears expected, having Richard Dent down there in the sideline. I think of all the players they could ill afford to lose, he would be one of the top 5.
3rd and 5. Kowski has a man open. It's Patrick Scott. And he moves into Bear territory. Stopped finally by Mike Richardson.
I'll tell you one thing they have to do is you have to give him time. Watch this. We'll look at the clicker. Watch Mike Singletary. He's going to come on a blitz. Now, the first thing you have to do is you have to get him stopped up the middle. Cannon does a good job getting him stopped, and that was the thing that gave Mikowski the time to get the ball out there to Scott.
1st and 10 Packers. The ball at the Bear 46. Green Bay's had a couple of shots, but it's still 7-0 Bears. Packers have missed 2 field goals. Mikowski for Sharp. And the pass is picked off by Vesty Jackson and now rolls loose in the end zone.
This is going to be an interesting call. Did he say he had it? He fumbled it? Is it a touchback? Yep, he said he intercepted it and then was in the end zone. The ball was dead, so it'll come out to the 20 and the Bears ball. There's Vesty Jackson.
Momentum. 1st down, Chicago.
What they're saying is that he was down in the end zone. Once he goes down in the end zone, the whistle blows, so you can't fumble. Momentum of the interception takes him into the end zone, fumbles after he's down. Now they've just changed it. They're saying that the interception was on the 2-yard line.
Momentum was ruled on the 2-yard line. 1st down.
Oh, boy, that's wrong. They gave it to the Bears, and they say that his momentum, he caught the ball on the 2, then he takes only 2 more steps. In fact, he only took 1 more step, and he was in the end zone. I think they're wrong on that one. Obviously, they have to give him the ball, because that's before he fumbled it. I would think the Bears should have gotten the ball on the 20.
But after they run this play, No more changes. Here's Harbaugh out of the end zone. Pass complete up to about the 11 to Wendell Davis. Stopped by David Brown.
I'm impressed with Jim Harbaugh coming in here with tough field position. Remember the last time he started out of his end zone and he threw that bootleg pass and Thornton fumbled it. Now he comes and has to throw out of the end zone. Think of all the passing and football, probably throwing out of your own end zone is about as tough as you have to do.
2nd and 1 with 6 minutes left, third quarter. And the Bears, after they took the opening kickoff and drove for the only score of the game, still lead at 7-0. Suey, right side, close to a first down. For an NFL update, right now let's send you back to New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, here's what's going on around the league. Tampa Bay, Lars Tate up over the top, and so they have battled back now into a tie with Atlanta. You can see bad weather down in Georgia right now. And in the big one in the AFC, Pat, the Bengals have simply dominated the Bills all day long. It's 28-7. Back to you and John.
Here in Chicago, Brent, it's 7-0 at Soldier Field. The Bears lead the Packers, but it's been a struggle. Suey, left side to the 20. Tripped up by Brian Noble.
That's a counter play to the fullback. They had Anderson coming away this way, you know, hoping that the defense is keying on Anderson. Watch, Anderson will go to his right, and then Suey will take the ball back to the left. You see Anderson come to the right, hoping the defense starts with him. Then Suey goes back against the grain on a counter play.
There's Richard Dent. The word from the Bears now is that he has a sprained ankle. They've lost Dent and Tomczak. Now Anderson swings to his right and breaks out of the group. And Neil Anderson still on his feet and off to the races. Chased by Brown. Anderson out of bounds at about the 2-yard line after a dash of 78 yards.
Great run by Neil Anderson. Starts out on the I formation, makes a little cut there, then a move to the outside. But watch his strength there. Strength there, running through it. Speed here. Speed to outrun everyone else. That's a great combination of quickness at the beginning of the run, strength in the middle of it, and speed at the end of it.
Longest run of his career. And if we get a chance to look at it again, watch him change hands with the ball twice during this run, and that's just instinctive. Timeout Bears.
Hey, on that run, he did about 4 great things.
Right now, what he needs is a little rest, a little time. 7-0 the Bears. A spectacular run by Neil Anderson. Did he get in?
Well, you know, watch here. If they say that he stepped on the left, then that's one thing. Now, if they step there, okay, now if he didn't step there, then it has to be a touchdown. Look, the ball crosses the plane. So the ball can't be on the 1-yard line. It had to be, if they said he stepped out of bounds, it had to be on the 6. Or if he didn't step out of bounds on the 6, it had to be a touchdown. But there's no way they can spot the ball where they put it. There's no way it's on the 2.
They must be looking at it again, John.
Well, I'm sure they are. They have to say the same thing, and they're asking the guy, if you said he's out of bounds in the 6. Here's the whole run again. Neil Anderson, a great run. Watch Ken Stills come up here and try and tackle him. Nah, he won't have any of that. Run right through it. You said he already switched the ball twice in his hands. There's the 3rd time. And then we still got one more great move coming. We're going to look at it here when he gets down to the 6. He steps and then dives 6 yards into the end zone. Let's watch it here with the clicker. what they're saying, if he's not out of bounds there, then he can't be out of bounds in the 2. It's either out of bounds in the 6 because his left foot was there, or it's a touchdown because the ball broke the plane. But there's no way that ball could be on the 2.
And they're still reviewing.
I think what they're asking the guys, did you say he was out of bounds? If you said he's out of bounds, it's a 6. If his foot didn't go out of bounds on the 6, then it has to be a touchdown.
Replay booth. Replay official is the gentleman at whom you look, Cal Lepore, former official in the NFL. And they're still looking.
I think that's all they have to do is ask that official, did he go out of bounds? If he did, the ball's on the 6. If he didn't go out of bounds, then it's a touchdown. It's that simple, Pat. That's Pat Haggerty, the referee.
Don't forget, coming up next here on CBS.
That's a further observation. A ruling by the replay official of a touchdown.
Lindy and Fetty can't believe it. Neil Anderson and the Bears love it. The longest run ever in Soldier Field by a Chicago Bear. Anderson, 17 carries for 139 yards, both touchdowns. That's a career high for him and a Soldier Field high for the Bears. Butler, with Harbaugh holding, usually it's time back. Butler's kick is good, and it's 14-0. Spectacular run by Neil Anderson. 14-0, Bears lead it. Richard Dent on the cart, headed for the Bear locker room. Ankle problems for him. Don't know how serious yet. Doubleheader game number 2 coming up here on CBS. The Rams against Denver. Right here, it's 14-0. The Bears over the Packers. Pat Summerall, John Madden here. Going to be Fullwood at the 10. Fullwood still on his feet out to the 40. 30-yard return. Looking at some of the other scores, the Cardinals over the Eagles. 14-10 in the 3rd. Heavy rain in Washington. The Redskins lead the Browns 10-3. Cincinnati over Buffalo 28-0. And the Dolphins have taken the lead over the Jets now. Another touchdown pass by Marino. 10-10 between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Woodside split wide to the left. He comes in motion. Mikowski back to throw it. Ball is deflected and intercepted by Morrissey. The Bears will take over. Hampton got the hand on it.
I tell you, that's a great thing when you have a 4-man rush team. You run a stunt and you got big tackles like Dan Hampton. That means if he gets any push, when he takes a step or two, that guy is going to be right in the quarterback's face. And then when you're like 6'6" and you put those big arms up there, there's no way the quarterback can get it through. Dan Hampton's having one of his best years that he's had as a pro. And I think a lot of it is the fact that he's moved back inside as a tackle.
Sanders and Suey now are the setbacks. That's Sanders with the ball, and he's thrown for a loss back behind the 50-yard line by John Anderson. There's Neil Anderson gets a rest, a loss of 8.
Look, Mike Dickens is complaining to Steve Kaiser about something he's going to say. He's saying, that's okay, Coach, that's okay. But you know, one thing about the Bears, I mean, they're one of the teams, as we watch Greg Landry, he's sending in the plays, but they're one of the teams that really doesn't rely as heavily on the quarterback as some teams. I mean, they got a great defense, one of the best in football. They have a very good running game, a good offensive line, that they don't have to do it with only the forward pass.
They're down to one quarterback. Contact went out. Harbaugh is the only one left. This is to Sanders. Sanders gets back into Packer territory, picks up 8 yards, stopped by Brian Noble.
You know, they use so many players, the Bears do. You know, we talked about that before, how they use 3 tight ends, they use 2 sets of wide receivers, 2 sets of running backs. They have guys coming in and out all the time, and I think that once you get that thing going, that really helps. It keeps everyone in the game.
And it keeps everyone happy about playing time and contributing.
That was Jim McMahon. He wasn't happy because he has a bad knee. But he'd love to be in there.
3rd down. Flag on the play. Pass complete to Muster. He's down to the 35 of Green Bay, a gain of 8. That'll be short of a first down, but we'll wait and see what the penalty is.
Flag on the play.
That was another one of those things where the quarterback gets a free play. You saw the Packers jump offside, so Harbaugh knew he had a free one. Usually when you get a free one, you take it deeper. I was surprised he went to Brad Muster.
Still 3rd down.
Still 3rd down, however. 3rd down and 5 now they need. The ball at the Packer 38. Closer, actually, to the 39.
You know, one thing you have to be impressed with, the Bears have used 2 quarterbacks today, but those 2 quarterbacks have thrown to 9 different receivers from caught passes.
That's Gentry on the move and Harbaugh back. Chased out of the pocket, gets it to Brad Muster. A gain of 4. Maybe just a little bit short of the first down. Anderson on the stop. They went for it on 4th and 8 earlier. Let's see if they go again. Probably will.
Probably will with the same thing. It's not so much that it's 4th down, but it's a position on the field. It would be a 51-yard field goal into the wind. I mean, King Kong couldn't kick one into that wind. And if you punt it and it goes in the end zone, then you only pick up 15 yards. So this is really kind of a free opportunity. And with a defense like the Bears have, what the heck? You know, throw caution into the wind or whatever they say.
That wind today would blow caution away.
It'd blow caution right back in your face.
And Harbaugh, not happy, calls a timeout. Beg your pardon, Tom Sanders asking to take a timeout because he wasn't sure. 1 minute and 2 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. I think what happened is they only had 10 men on the field. Again, for an NFL update, let's send you back to the studio in New York and Brent Musburger.
Just a short time ago, the Eagles, for the 2nd time this afternoon, took the lead on the Phoenix Cardinals. Carter's open. Cunningham's got it. It's 17-14, about 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Now let's send it back to Pat and John.
14-0 on a blustery day in Chicago at Soldier Field. 1 minute and 2 seconds left to play 3rd quarter. And the Bears have the lead.
That last play, the Bears had to take time out, not because of the play, because they only had 10 guys out on the field. Could be a running play. The guy that was short was a runner.
Sanders and Muster. And Harbaugh fake. Threw a pass to Bozo. Underthrew him. And the Packers will take over.
Well, one of those things, Harbaugh was so excited. He saw Bozo open. He tried to get the ball to him so quick, and then tried to get there quick and just threw it short. He was so happy. You know how you get so excited about seeing something. The guy's open, the guy's open, the guy's open. And then you throw it short because you get so excited. Watch him here. He's going to see 86 Bozo there. He gets so excited to get it to him, he doesn't let out all the hose on it.
Doesn't get it to him. So the Packers take over at their own 34. 1st and 10. Bears leading 14-0 with less than a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Kemp was the man in motion. Flags on the play, and nothing ever really gets started. Speaking of intense competitive people. Mike Singletary, who said to us yesterday, I want to be, if I look at film, I want to be the best film watcher. When I'm at home, I want to be the best father there is. When I'm playing, I want to be the best linebacker
Ball
there
start.
is.
Number 70.
An awful lot of pride he has.
And you know, when he gets on the field, that pride and that intensity and that whole feeling, I think, just gets in the huddle, and all other 10 guys on that defense play off of that. I think he is a great leader, not because what he says, but just the way he feels and plays and goes about things.
Durison up faking blitz, and now Dave backs out. Now the Packers aren't sure. And Durison now does blitz. Intended for Patrick Scott. No doubt that there was contact with Douglas and Scott, but no flag is flown.
It looks like Mike Richardson, number 27, bumps him right there. And I guess he did, but Scott was trying to draw it. Scott knew that he was there. See, Scott's trying to draw the foul. And Richardson did run into him. But I'm kind of glad they didn't call that. Not anything personal, but I don't think that if a guy tries to draw a penalty, they ought to give it to him. You know, the old thing, if you're going to get a penalty, you got to earn it.
Second down now. They need 15. Bears again on a blitz, but they have a man wide open, Ed West. The Packer tight end gets it into Bear territory. Nobody covered him.
And he got so excited, he doesn't get many footballs thrown to him, the tight end of the Packers or Ed West. And watch him, he sees Mike Richardson out. He said, I don't get to do this anymore. When I get out there in a little defensive back, I'm going to run right over him. He put Mike Richardson back where he came from.
First and 10, Green Bay, right at midfield now. Just on the Bears side, the 50-yard line. 39 seconds remaining, third quarter. This is Brent Fullwood. Inside the 40, Al Harris finally wrestled him to the ground after a gain of 9.
That was a good run. That's the type of thing the Packers wanted to do coming into this game, be able to run some. That time Fullwood took the ball like he was going to the left, felt a soft spot back to his right, and made a nice cutback to pick up those 9 yards.
24 seconds remain in the third quarter. Measure for the first down for Fullwood, and yes. Packers' first round choice of a year ago, starting to live up to his expectations. Clock running now with 15 seconds remaining, third quarter. I guess they're just going to let it run out. So that'll be the end of the third quarter with the score: the Chicago Bears 14, the Green Bay Packers nothing. And we now pause for a word from your local station. Fourth quarter coming up at Soldier Field in Chicago. Packers have the ball just inside the Bear 40, but the Bears lead it 14-0. Covered by Bestie Jackson. Over on the sideline, the Bears checking x-rays at this moment.
You know, and they just say that they just read the x-rays of Richard Dent's leg, and he has a broken fibula. So that is very tough news for the Chicago Bears. They x-ray it, then they show it to him. There's some other things that go on the sideline. We see Jay Hilgenberg. He's looking at the Polaroids of the defense that the Packers were using the last time they were in there.
Second and 2, Fullwood. Hammers for what looks like a Packer first down, stopped by Rivera. The loss of Richard Dent would be a very, very serious one. Not
think
that Tomczak isn't.
No, that can be bigger than the Tomczak thing, I think, because the strength of this Bear defense is, the strength of this Bear team is a defense. And Richard Dent is definitely one of the strengths of that strong defense. And losing him with a broken leg is a big, it's a tough thing for this Bear defense.
Those are two key injuries today. They start Kemp in motion. On first down, reverse coming and smothered by Durison. It was to Sterling Sharp, and he never had a chance. A loss of 9.
I'll tell you, that's one thing you can't do. You're going to see Durison here. The reverse is going to come this way, and you really can't run a reverse into a safety blitz. Now, you don't know it's coming, but if you knew that that safety was coming from this side right there, there's no way that you would run that play. I mean, that's not Sterling Sharp. That's not the quarterback. There's no one that would have chance on that play.
That's just a bad choice of plays on against a defense like that.
Or a good choice of defense against a play like that.
Quick throw incomplete. Patrick Scott had it and lost it. Mike Richardson was the defender.
Yeah, it was interesting. The Bears had two guys, Durison and the linebacker, coming from the outside at the same time. They were both free. The big thing, they were to the side that Mikowski sees. Let's watch it. It's right here. They're going to come from here, but at least it's Mikowski's right-hand side. You see two free guys coming. No one block him, but he knows that he can get rid of the ball because he can see him. Well, that's tough is when they're coming from your backside.
3rd and 20. Incomplete. Intended for Scott. And the Packers will have to punt.
And when the Packers are, you know, they can get some plays. You get the feeling they can do some things. I think their defense is playing well today, but they just can't seem to put those plays together and march down the field.
Well, only 22 points in the last 4 games until today. McKinnon fumbles, and the Packers are right there. They've had a couple of opportunities like this. Weddington is the man who made the recovery.
That's the second time that they'd have a fumble recovery in good field position. Last time they didn't get anything out of it. Now, if they're going to be in this game, they got to take a shot here and get in the end zone.
Packers will take it over at the Bear 14-yard line. Still plenty of time left. 12:38 in the contest.
Look at Singletary. He's firing up the Bear defense and the crowd at the same time.
Here comes Durison. Pass was deflected, I think, by Sean Smith, who replaced Richard Dent. Incomplete.
Here you're going to see Smith coming from this side. Durison again blitzing from this side. He didn't have anything. I mean, he just had to get rid of that ball. Let's watch it here. You see, he has nothing there. He has to get rid of the ball or he's going to take the sack.
2nd and 10 from the 14. Scott was the man in motion. With a tight end, Ed West. He's wrapped up after a gain of 2 by Morrissey. And Steve McMichael that time put the heat on the quarterback.
You look at the pressure that Don Mikowski's been under today. He's only been sacked twice. He's done a good job of getting rid of the ball. Knocked down after he's thrown it 8 times, been hurried 15 times. That's just about every time he's thrown. 3 batted balls and 2 interceptions. I'll tell you, that's harassment. Much more than that, you can call 911.
I'll say 3rd and 8. Mikowski said, you pick him up, you take him. He gets the snap. Bear pressure pass complete at about the 6-yard line. A gain of 6 to Aubrey Matthews.
I think that's going to be short of a first down, though. So Lindy Infante, he wasn't sure whether he had a first down or not, so he just took a timeout. I think this is his decision. You know, the 4th down, what play do you want in this situation? Make sure.
That's exactly what he's doing. Let's talk it over.
The second half.
Soldier Field, 4th and 2 for the Packers. To summarize what's happened so far, Dent and Tomczak both out for the Bears. Anderson has 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, both of them. And that's the situation in the 4th quarter. 4th down and 2 for the Packers, and they've decided, John, to go for it.
Well, I think they have to, because they need 2 scores to tie the game. And I think what they have to be thinking here with 4th and 2, when you're 4th down, 2 yards is really long yardage. And I think that's why Lindy Infante wanted timeout. They wanted to talk about a play. I would say it has to be a passing play, maybe with some quarterback movement or play pass. But there's no way that you're going to get down here on 4th down and run for 2 yards. In fact, they're in here now with 4 wide receivers.
And Paul Otkaruk is the lone setback, the blocker. Gossett signals for motion, back to throw it. Incomplete in the end zone, and the Bears will take over. David Tate knocked it away.
There's Mike Singletary saying, left side, you do this. Right side, you do this. Left, left, right, right, left. Middle, middle, do this. Whatever. I'm going where the ball is. That's who we got. After that, he can take off. I'm surprised. I don't think he had to throw it in the end zone now. I'm surprised that he just didn't look for some guy coming underneath shorter that would get him to first down and maybe a chance to run in for a touchdown after he caught the ball.
The Packers again come away empty. And the Bears still lead 14-0.
It's been the story of their season.
Harbaugh again. He is tripped up at about the 10 by Robert Brown. Next, coming up on CBS, Game 2, the doubleheader game, the Rams against Denver.
Here's what it's like to be a nose tackle. There's Bob Nelson. Yep, you get the guard coming down. He just pushes you. The center pushes you. The other guard picks you up. You get 3-on-1. They just surround you. No wonder that there's no guy playing nose tackle in this league that has a kid that he wants him to be a nose tackle.
I think that's a safe assumption. None that we've talked to, I know that.
No.
On 2nd down, Buster over the left side for 2 yards. Stopped by Harris. The Bears have turned it over. Packers got an interception, missed a field goal. They got a fumble on a punt return by McKinnon. They couldn't get anything out of that. And the score is 14-0. You have to be able to take advantage of turnovers.
Yeah, you know, that's been the story of their season. That one, they either gave the turnovers, and of course you can't win that way either, or when they got the turnovers, they didn't take advantage of it.
3rd and 2. Tomczak out with a separated shoulder. Harbaugh is the quarterback. He gives to Mustard. Mustard will have a first down for the Bears. Gain 5, and could have been more.
Yeah, but that's the thing with those nose tackles. We were talking about that earlier, about how none of them that we talked to want their kid, and they get blocked by the center, the guards. They put tight ends in motion. Any way you can get those guys, and they're usually guys, you know, usually when they were kids, they were, you know, nicknamed like Squatty or Stinky or something like that. They were the catcher on the baseball team. And
Chunky.
Yeah, Chunky. They shopped in the Chunky side. You know, they played goalie and hockey and catcher and all those positions, nose tackles, batted last.
Incomplete. Davis was the intended receiver. Mark Lee, the defender, and Harbaugh was under pressure again.
Disregard the flag. Throw it in air.
Disregard it.
I would rather see that. I'd rather have them admit it and throw it in air than have to make up a penalty to go with the error that they made in throwing the flag.
By the way, in that Philadelphia game, Randall Cunningham has been replaced by Matt Cavanaugh. Cunningham out with an injury.
You know, last week we had a thing. There was only, of the 28 quarterbacks, only 7 of them started every game, and Phil Simms went down last week. He was one of them. Cunningham was the other, and he gets hurt this week.
Harbaugh intended for McKinnon, incomplete.
Harbaugh's bad.
Brown on the coverage. There's a guy you don't hear mentioned very much, number 78 for the Bears, Keith Van Horn. Mike Ditka was saying yesterday, you always say, hey, look, this guy's not doing this guy's not doing this, and then sometimes you forget to say all the good things he does.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Keith Van Horn has been one of those guys who was #1 draft choice out of SC and has been starting there for so long, you kind of take it for granted and said, well, he's not the quickest guy in the world, but you forget those 99% of the things he does right. You know, he's a very, very good, solid player.
There's Harbaugh out of the pocket. Fires to Gentry. That should be enough for first. A gain of 12 yards.
There's the guy who's played hard today is Mark Murphy. He's had a pulled hamstring. He's missed a couple of games. But you talk about a guy who's looking for some action. Look at those eyes. I mean, he's looking. What does he say? He's moving around there. And when he sees a hit, he gets very, very excited. Watch him run here. Boom. Hey, he's the guy who's given his all today in this one. Tough guy.
First down, Bears, their own 31. 8.5 minutes left as Harbaugh gives to Muster. Two yards for Muster. Stopped by Patterson.
Brad Muster was the #1 draft choice, one of the #1 draft choice of the Bears this year, and you know, and really hadn't done a heck of a lot. And then last week he had a big run on a short pass and took it all the way down for a touchdown. And then he came back the next week and he kind of felt more a part of the offense, like he's, you know, kind of coming there and belonging. You know, this Bear team, they had 2 first rounds last year. This year, coming up, they have 3 first-round draft choices and this team.
Harbaugh chased out of the pocket, finally gets rid of it. Murphy on a blitz. You know, you're talking about the Bears and those draft choices. You look at Lindy and Fanti. Bill Tobin, who is director of scouting for the Bears, and his staff have done one heck of a job. When you look at this Bear team and all the rebuilding you were talking before about since the Super Bowl, how many new players they have, they've done a heck of a job.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Since the Super Bowl, they have 22 new players, but they have 14 new players on this Bear roster this year. And I think that other teams are going to look at that and decide that's the way to do it. There's Mike Tomczak there. You saw with his, looked like his left shoulder in a sling.
On third down, Harbaugh is back, and he gets it out to Gentry, and Gentry gets the first down for the Bears. Picked up 14 yards, and they keep the ball and move it upfield. Clock continues to run, but now just over 7 minutes remaining.
There you can see Mike Tomczak right there, shaking hands there with Duerson, but it looks like looked like his left shoulder. You can see it was his left shoulder was the injured shoulder, and that looks like you can see it's in a sling, and the left arm is there. Hey, that was a tough thing because he, you know, we were talking to him yesterday, and he was feeling so good, so confident, so happy with the way things were going.
So much like he was in command of things. And Sanders three pushed backwards by the Packers. Brian Noble in the middle of it.
Johnny Holland also in the middle of it. He's number 50 there. Like Lindy and Fonnie was saying that someday when we get better, the Packers, this guy is going to be a Pro Bowl type player. He said he can't be one now. He's only a second-year guy, and our record's 2-10, and he's not going to make any Pro Bowls in that situation. But when we get good, you watch this Johnny Holland will be one of the guys who'll be in the Pro Bowl.
Second down now and 7. Harbaugh outside to Emery Moorhead. Mark Lee, the defender. In the two meetings in 1988, in rushing yards, the Bears 415, the Packers 56. That's a pretty good key right there.
And I think that's exactly what it means, that the Bears are a real good team and a good running team, and the Packers are a lousy team. I mean, and you know, you have to be able to run. Not that you're going to win with the run, but to keep that pass rush down and those type of things.
On third down. Harbaugh in the direction of Covert. And a flag on the play.
They were saying that he ground the ball, intentionally ground the ball, so they're going to give it back to him there. You'll see Harbaugh come back, starts off to his right, then he's going to come back here, and they're saying, and I don't know about that, I mean, that he intentionally grounded the ball, that he threw it away. That was Tim Harris who really put the pressure on him, and they've been giving these Bear quarterbacks some pressure today. 3 sacks, knocked him down 8 times, hurried him, made him throw when they weren't ready to 13 times.
Wagner back to punt. Ron Pitts back deep for Green Bay, number 28. Gentry, and finally downs it at the 10. Didn't look like much of a punt, but the result was very effective. 4:54 left to play. The Bears up by 2 touchdowns. 4:54 remaining, with the Bears leading the Packers 14-0. Packers have had a couple of chances, but unable to capitalize. Paul Ott-Caruth is the lone setback with Bukowski. Juggled it. Almost, and I think it's got to be a safety.
It's either a safety or a touchdown. Now Pat Haggerty's patting his hand right there, saying the ball is right there. And about the 2-inch line.
Man is ruled in the grass, then control on the 6-yard line.
In the grass, they're saying he threw the ball underhanded forward.
Now they're saying that he blew the whistle before, that they blew it right there. I don't know, no. I heard the whistle. The whistle was after the guy threw the ball.
And Haggerty is saying, here's where it is.
Oh, boy.
And here's what we're going to do. Packers get off a play in a hurry. Aubrey Matthews, he came very close to stepping back on the back line.
He did. He did step on it. It's a safety.
The quarterback stepped on the end line. Stepped on the end line. Safety.
He stepped on the end line. He did do it.
Yep. Right there.
Yep,
You
yep.
can see his foot right there. Then he throws it. So the minute he steps out of the end zone, out of the back of the end zone, then that becomes a safety.
And so it's 16-0 now, Bears. And the Packers will have to kick it from their own 20 to the Bears. That looks like a victory in the W column for the Bears, but they have lost two very key people. Tomczak separated left shoulder, and Richard Dent with a broken bone in his leg.
Working to be the best they can be.
The Bears now 16-0 with 4:22 left to play. And the Packers will kick from their own 20. McKinnon and Durson back deep for the Bears. Don Bracken will punt it. That's Dave Durson, who just downs it back at the 30-yard line.
You know, it's funny, we just saw that safety, and that's a record-breaking number of safeties this year. And it just seems, as we see through 1988, 23, 1983, it was only 19. But it seems like more teams are throwing from their end zone. You know, as it used to be when you got backed up, you'd put in 2 or 3 tight ends and just run the ball. Now people are out of that end zone, they're opening up and throwing. And of course they're getting sacks and bad stuff happening.
Oh, we saw the Bears do it 3 or 4 times. They got away with it. Here's Muster over the right side. Picked up 3. Stopped by Holland again.
You know, one of the things that always scared me about it as a coach was what Mikowski just did. If you step on that back line, it's a safety. But the other thing, if you have a penalty, an offensive penalty in the end zone, that's also a safety. So if you get a holding penalty, then that gives them a safety too. So that's a very dangerous thing to do.
Timeout, Packers. Van Horn is the man limping off. Final score starting to come in. That one's not a final. Philadelphia 24. Earl Farrell just scored for the Cardinals to make it 24-21. That's the way it looked when the day began, although Washington has lost to Cleveland, so they're 6-7. Giants play New Orleans tonight. The Eagles and Cardinals playing right now.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting race next week, the week after, and probably into the final week of the season.
Second down here and 7. This is Sanders. To about the 35. Stopped again by Holland, but a gain of 4. Timeout, Green Bay, their last one.
There you can see the Bears now with Harbaugh playing. You know Tomczak's out. McMahon is eligible to come back off IR next week, but I believe there's no way he's going to. In fact, he said he wasn't ready. Mike Ditka said maybe the following week against Detroit. So I would bet that tonight, right after this game, the Bears are going to get out and try and find a quarterback. And it was interesting. This week, the San Diego Chargers just signed Steve Fuller, who would have been the logical guy that you would assume, what the heck, anytime the Bears ever get in quarterback trouble, they always bring back old Steve Fuller.
What about Greg Landry?
Well, Greg Landry, he could do it. Just take off that stocking cap, put on a helmet. He knows the plays. He calls the plays. I don't know, though. I mean, he's too old, huh?
You never get too old, John.
To play quarterback, I'm talking about. Although George Blanda played for me like when he was 48, 49 years old. In fact, there's a guy, George Blanda lives here in Chicago.
He might do it. That's Sanders out of bounds. Holland again. First down, Bears. The playoff picture, if the season ended today, the three champions would be Philadelphia, Chicago, and New Orleans. And the wild card situation would have the Vikings hosting, and Phoenix, depending upon what happens to that game today in Philadelphia, which is not over yet, would be the other wild card team. There are 10 minutes left in that game, by the way. Sanders to the 45, just run it out. Holland on his 4th consecutive tackle. Gain of 5. Doubleheader game coming up next. The Rams against Denver. Those are 2 more teams sort of looking at each other saying, what have we been doing wrong?
Yeah, who's worse, you or me? You know, the other thing here with the Bears winning today, of course, that will clinch a spot for themselves. Now, 7, 8, 9 years ago, they'd be celebrating that. You know, hey, we made the playoffs. They'd be tearing down goalposts. Now, nothing. People are leaving. They're going home. The coach is not excited.
They expect it.
Yeah, they expect it. Now, you win a Super Bowl, they want it every year. It's not that.
That's Buster right side. Up by Patterson and Mark Murphy. Picked up 2.
Yeah, but isn't that something, how if you were in Green Bay and just flopped this thing around, how excited they would be to come in and they'd be having a record 11-2? These people here, the players, they don't look excited. Crowd isn't excited. No one's excited. Then they're in the playoffs. This team here, of course, the only thing they have to look forward to, and they don't want to, is a possibility of, because they have such a poor record, getting the first player in the draft this year.
3rd and 3. Sanders. Close to a first down on that last spin. Not quite there. Holland. 2-minute warning coming right up. 16-0. The Bears lead the Packers at Soldier Field, one of the longest. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. That's a special movie, Almost Grown, a 2-hour series premiere. That's all tonight on CBS. Right now, 2 minutes remaining at Soldier Field. $16-0. Bears will improve their record to 11-2. There's Buster, left side, 3 yards. Assuming that the Packers go ahead, and it looks like they indeed will lose this game, they would get the first-round draft choice. Who that might be? Well, a lot of speculation.
You know, generally, these are the top 6 players that are coming out, and I would think if it were Green Bay, of course, they have to lose today and then keep on losing, but Troy Aikman from UCLA is legitimate quarterback. Guys I've talked to love this Tony Mandarich. They think that he is one of the best offensive linemen they've ever seen in their life. I mean, a guy that could be a dominant player. He's the guy that I would probably take if I were building a team. If I needed a quarterback, it would have to be Troy Aikman.
That Mandarich is 6'5" and 315. And he could be a fullback.
Right, and he runs a 4.8.
Sanders was the ball carrier. Patterson on the stop. Packers are out of timeouts.
You know, talking about Mandarich, it was funny. They took a poll and they were asking the Bears who they think should be the Heisman Trophy winner, and Dan Hampton said Mandarich should be, and everyone kind of joked. You know, everyone else was picking, you know, Sanders and Aikman and all this stuff, and Hampton's vote was for Mandarich.
Anderson looking back at the Bears and waving threatening gestures on the way out.
Yeah, you take John Anderson's an 11-year veteran, so he's Well, they play twice a year, so this is 22 times, or close to 22 times he's played against these Bears. And you can see just before he goes out, he wants to give one more verbal shot to him before he leaves.
3rd down, 54 seconds remain. Cold and blustery, windy day. Here's Harbaugh. Incomplete, intended for Moorhead. Pittsburgh beat Kansas City 16-10. That's a final. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited.
I lost 80 pounds. I think I know where it went.
Inside that coat.
Oprah Winfrey's from Chicago. She lost 60. I lost 80. Or she lost 67. I lost 80. I think there's another person walking around Chicago.
The clock.
About a 150-pound person.
15 seconds off the clock.
Run 15 seconds off the clock, please. Mike Ditka on the sideline. Not necessarily too happy with.
I thought he was supposed to stay unemotional. Look, 35 seconds. He's ahead 16 to nothing. If there's any time you ought to be laid back, that's it.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. In talking to him, he is more laid back. He is more relaxed than he was.
He's trying to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if he really is or it's a bluff.
Outwardly, maybe.
I think it could be a bluff, too.
Flag on the play. In the AFC,
center of Chicago.
if the season ended today, the playoffs would look like this. Buffalo, Cincinnati, and the Raiders would be the champions. Houston would host the wild card game. And right now, Cleveland, who beat Washington today to improve their record to 8-5, would be the other team in the playoffs. New England 7-0 over Indianapolis. And Cincinnati still beating Buffalo 35-21 with 2 minutes remaining. Crowd starting to file out of Soldier Field as the Bears lead it 16-0 with 35 seconds to go. Green Bay out of timeouts. Pitts back deep for the Packers. Another flag on the play. They ran into the kicker. Wagner took a shot, and they'll bring this one back. Well, it was a nice spin.
And again, the rule now is it's only a 5-yard, and it's not a first down. I imagine the Bears will just turn it down and get this thing over with only 25 seconds.
Packers out of timeouts. Now that's how to enjoy a game, right?
Nah, not really. Get out in the elements. You guys, you need some coats and stuff on. Look, anyone that sits like that. Now, these are fans.
They gave you a wave off.
Yeah, those other people, nothing. They're nothing. They're air balls. These people here, the out, the people, the place, the weather, the snow, some dirt.
Pass complete to Sterling Sharp, and that should do it before they can run another one. First down, but the clock continues with 10 seconds to go. The Bears leading 16-0.
The Packers hurry up. They don't have any quarterback. Mikowski was walking off the field. The rest of the offense was hurrying up. He said, heck with it. I don't need any more of that.
Okay, for John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Chicago, where the final score is the Bears 16, Green Bay nothing. And CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.